Hello, this is Ken from Automotive PDR in Eureka, Illinois, and what you're looking at here is my toolbox I used from 1989 to 99 when I put it up and got a real set of tools, professional tools from Sid at Dent and OKC. Well, let's just go see what we got in here, and I'll explain to you what some of these tools are. Of course, we just got some basic rods here. These picks here are made out of hood springs. The old style cars that had the cross hood springs, so that's spring steel. Let's see what else we got in here. Come on up here, buddy. Okay, well, probably the tools we use most. Well, let me explain something. These tools were used at the Mitsubishi factory in Normal, Illinois. So some of these are combination tools of metal finish tools and PDR tools because we had to do both. So a lot of them dual purpose here. This was our spoon and our pick and our slapper tapper, if you like. What we would do, how we would use this, is several different ways. You could put it underneath the car, your dent, push it like this, or my favorite was put my thumb right in that groove, and you could just push that right up. And then you got a little high, super slapper tapper, or you could even do it the other side if you wanted, or you could do it with a hammer. But we always kept these really polished, so we didn't mess up the paint. So you've got the spoon, and these spoons were made out of files, flat cut files, all handmade there out of file tools. These were our knockdowns. We basically had to make all our own tools. There was no tools. They said, there's dents to fix, there's a pile of steel and some metal, make your tools. We made our knockdowns out of wood, but we called our knockdowns pimple sticks. So, a funny story, first time I did hail outside of my own, I asked somebody what they're using for a pimple stick, and kind of looked at me kind of weird, so, pimple sticks. This one here is trim tool remover. Remove the little plastic tabs that hold your weather stripping up. We had to make that. Oh, this thing here was probably our first dent chart. It was basically a little snap-on ruler, and we could sit there and we could measure the dent. That's how we did it, from half inch to inch, inch and a half, 2 inch, 2.5 inch. How we would price our dents out. Okay, yeah, this thing here, sure, this will create a lot of controversies, but this was something more people are familiar with now, like an edge jack. But what we did, this is a version that we would put underneath here and pull with a slide hammer. You can see that. Now, another version we had, this top piece wasn't here. And what we would do is we'd take this old screwdriver bits, either a Phillips or a slot, depending on if you had a point or a crease, and we'd stick that right in there. Like I said, this one's not made for that one, but we had one that would go in here. We would put that up there like that, and then we had a plate that had a U-channel in it. We would slide that up there, run the bolt down, press the dent out. So, take that how you want to take it. Okay, we got hammers, blending hammers, I guess you could say. This is the one I still use. This one here. Excellent blending hammer. Is very aggressive. You got to know what you're doing. The Japanese called it a chan-chan. I don't know what chan-chan means. I think it means bang bang or something like that, but you would go. You just dropped it on the dent. It's very heavy. And then this piece here, bendable rod, you slide down on the door, do your door dents. Because at the plant, we basically had to carry just a few tools. You couldn't drag this 40-pound toolbox everywhere, so you'd put them in your belt loops, put them in your pockets, anything you had to do, because you had to run all over the plant to do different kind of repairs. So we got that in there. Old style window wedge, just a piece of wood wrapped with some duct tape. More bars, door spoons, like that. This thing here, okay, another thing, most of these dents were car specific for the first and second generation of the Mitsubishi F bodies and C bodies, your Eclipses, Talons, Lasers, and Gallants. So this was to get behind the door beam on those cars. It was bent perfectly to slide right down the door, get around the door beam. And what we did, what we call a lizard tongue, we took the end and we ground it down and drove a wedge in there and split it out. So it's basically kind of like a whale tail. That's how we use that. And there's another version here, a little smaller version, different type, to get down in there. This one here's sunroof tool. That still might work today, but it's kind of basically like your hand whale tail. You could slide that in there, and we did this kind of motion because it wasn't a whale tail, or you could get in there like that. Very, very thin. So this one's already been broke off, but that was to get in and around the sunroofs. Here's another door beam tool. Had a lot of dents right on the door beam. Just little spoons, hammers. Another pick. We just had to make stuff I already found laying around the plant. We found some metal laying around, we grabbed it. We got this old sealer cutter. We cut the sealer. Got that stuff. Another type of a spoon we used. This one here is a door trim removal tool. We didn't have the Mac one, but we'd slide that down there, hook on the belt molding, and yank it up like that. So, okay. Don't remember what that's for, just another little tool. We got all sorts of junk in here. Another little hammer, blending hammer, get real fine. We remember these used to be all polished up, stuff like that. And just a bunch of different rods. We didn't really have anything long. The longest rod was this one because you couldn't really carry around a big rod. So, another little spoon. Oh, of course, the old style that you had to have. Just this one worked pretty good. You can get up there and lever it up. So, kind of like a hail pistol, what they have now, I guess. And just little bitty tweakers, stuff like that. Just a bunch of junk. But as I said, basically this was dual-purpose tools, metal finishing and PDR. Just a bunch of, I don't even remember what some of this stuff was, but it fixed dents, probably hundreds of thousands of dents at the Mitsubishi plant because they put a lot of dents in cars. Some of them are little, some of them are big. And we probably fixed anywhere from a dozen to 100 dents a day, depending if they had a problem on the line. So that's some of that stuff. Oh yeah, here's a little spoon. This made, we kind of played around with that for blending. So we didn't call it blending, we just called it, you know, knock it out, So yeah, just nothing really left interesting in here. Another little knockdown, pimple stick. So just a bunch of cool little stuff. Oh yeah, this is the fly swatter I got. My first hailstorm after I left the plant was in OKC after the F5 tornadoes, and I hooked up with Buddy Hooper in Weatherford, and this is the hotel I stayed out. Must have been a lot of flies where I was working. That ended up here somehow. So just some interesting stuff here. None of it would probably work that good nowadays, but this is what we had back then. So that's all. Thanks for watching.